Okay, so we are now recording. I will also share my screen. All right. Once I share my screen, as always, I can't see any chats. Okay, if you need to send me a message, actually I can see it. It will show on my screen. So if you need to send me a message, you can. If you have any questions, send them through to the chat over there. Okay, and I'll have a look at them when I finish talking about what you need to do this week. All right, so I'll share my screen now. And here we go. So we will start with what you had to do last week and see how you went. Okay, so last week, week 4 instructions. Okay, so last week there were the instructions. You had to do an ed puzzle, you had to do quizzes. There were the instructions for the presentation. Okay, that's really important. And then there was a review of those instructions. There was also a problem with one of the questions in the review, and I will talk about that as well just quickly. So looking at the instructions, okay, as always, you should just go and check what you need to do before the end of the week. All right, so last week you had to do the ed puzzle. You had to read information in the textbook and do the quizzes, and then you needed to read through the presentation outline and then do the review activity. Those were the 3 things from last week. Now with the ed puzzle, let's just have a quick look and see how you guys went. All right, so that was the explaining visuals one. Everybody has done it. That's fantastic. Remember, the key point with explaining visuals is that for every visual you show your audience, you should introduce the topic, explain what the numbers mean, okay, explain what the visual is looking at, and then emphasize the key point on that visual. That's what you need to do with each visual. Everybody's done pretty well. All right, there are more ed puzzles to do this week. Actually, there's 3 ed puzzles to do this week. These 3. All right, and I will explain them a little bit later. Let's have a look at the quizzes. So again, you needed to read through the textbook, the last bit of effective visuals, and then the parts on how to explain visuals. The quizzes questions were aimed at guiding you through the important points. Okay, so we're really concentrating now on the visual message. And just looking at this, most people did really well, and nearly everybody did it, which is excellent. Okay, oh, and one last thing, that was the review of the presentation. Now, question 7 in this review had a problem. That was this one. Okay, I have fixed the problem. Okay, 2 of the answers were out of order. Okay, the 3 P's: planning, preparation, practice. When you're making a presentation, you start by thinking about the things that you need to do. Okay, you brainstorm topics, ideas, then you go do research, you collect your information and your materials. Then the planning, the preparation is you take all that material, you take all your ideas, you make your PowerPoint presentation, or you make your presentation. And practice exactly what it says. There's different ways to do practice so that it's more effective, and we'll look at that next week. Okay, but as far as this question goes, what I will do, because there was a mistake, the software hasn't updated the results to show that if you had the correct answer, it was correct. So I'm just not going to include this as part of the test. Okay, so it was only worth 1 point. The test will simply be out of 9 points instead of 10. Okay, so now let's have a look at what you have to do this week. Okay, so go to the week 5 folder and you'll see it's very empty here. That's because nearly everything is an ed puzzle this week. But let's have a look. As always, open the instructions, read through what you need to do. So WebEx meeting, we're doing it now. You're going to look at how to create or how to find a template, a PowerPoint template. And this is a really useful skill to have. I'll talk about that in more detail in a minute. You're also going to have a look at one of the best presenters who ever lived. His name was Steve Jobs. Unfortunately, he died about 9 years ago. He's famous for many things. One of them was he was one of the founders of Apple computers. Okay, most of you have iPhones. He was the guy that invented the iPhone. But he was also extremely famous for his presentations, and I'll explain more about that later, and you will have a look at his presentations in detail. We'll talk about the presentation project, where you should hopefully be now, and what you need to do this week to prepare for your presentation. And we'll quick look at the summary of homework. Now this week I've added a schedule. Okay, we're now halfway, more than halfway through the quarter. Okay, so just to keep in mind where we are and where we need to be, I've put in this. I'll update this each week. So this week you will learn how to use PowerPoint, how to select a good template. Okay, and you will also talk about your presentation. Next week, we'll have a look at practicing your presentation. We'll keep looking at the good and bad aspects of a visual presentation. And in week 7, so in 2 weeks' time, you will record your presentations on Flipgrid and give each other feedback on your presentations. Also, just a quick note, there will be a quiz on the visual message, okay? All the aspects of the visual message, there will be a quiz. Don't worry, easy for you guys. So, how to find or create a PowerPoint template. Now, I've made 2 videos, okay? Normally what I do is I would cover this material in class. I would demonstrate it in class. We're not in class, we're online. So I have made a video, uploaded it to YouTube, and then created an ed puzzle. And I want you to do the ed puzzle. Now, your presentations must use a PowerPoint template, okay? And the easiest way to do that is to find an existing one and then just change it for your own needs. And so that's what I will start with, how to find a free, because you don't want to pay for it, a free PowerPoint template. We're using an ed puzzle again because the questions will guide you towards the important aspects of an ed puzzle. So very simply, just click on the ed puzzle, click on the link, okay? It should take you straight into Edpuzzle. You may have to just enter your login details. You'll see this. You'll see there are a number of questions. Just play the video, answer the questions, okay? You can see they're all multiple choice. Now the video is nearly 13 minutes long. It's quite long. It's all me talking, sorry, but I think it is a really useful investment of your time, because to be able to find a PowerPoint template quickly will help you with future assignments, future presentation assignments. It will save you time in the future. Now, where do we? I've given you a number of websites where you can find free PowerPoints. And to go to those websites, you need to come into the all general materials. Okay, this is the materials page. And down the bottom, you'll see an information page called Useful Presentation Websites. Okay, this is also explained in the video, but I just want to show you now where it is. When you come in here, I have a number of links and resources for giving presentations. Okay, but the one that you need to concentrate on for finding a template is here. There are 8 links, okay, but I only discuss 5 of them in the video. And you need to go through each one. You might not find what you need in the first one, so look in the second one. And if you don't find it there, look in the third one. And if you find something, but it's so-so, look in another one until you find one that you are happy with. Okay? Just a quick explanation of what they look like. I've opened up this one, PowerPoint Styles. All right? And all you do is you put a search in, okay, for country or for the name of your country, say Japan, or whatever your presentation topic is. And then it will come up with a list of possible templates. So let's try international. Do a search. All right, and you'll see down here, these are all PowerPoint styles templates. They're all free. And what you need to do then is go through and find the one that you think best suits your presentation needs. Okay, open it up. Let's say it's this one. You would have a quick look, read through it. That's what it's going to look like. Okay, this is what these slides will look like. And then when you're ready, download it and open it. Okay, and then you can adjust it. This is fully explained in that link, okay, in the Edpuzzle, along with questions to help guide you through what you need to do for finding a PowerPoint template. Okay, the second one you need to do is this. If you cannot find a template that matches what you want, there is an alternative. You can create your own template. Okay, you create your own background. And to do that, you need to find photos which match your topic. And then you set the photos as a background in PowerPoint. And this video explains how to do that. Now, this video is not as long. Okay, I think it's about 8 minutes from memory. Let's see how close I am. Oh, 10 minutes, I beg your pardon. 10 minutes. Both of those videos, though, will explain the criteria for selecting a template. And I'll go through that in a minute. Okay, but it repeats information in both videos. But basically, again, you'll see there are 2 links. These are not to template pages, these are to photo pages. And importantly, they are to free photos, photos that you can download and use for free. All right? So you just put your search term in here and then look for the photo that you want. Okay? You download the photo. The explanation video will explain exactly how to do everything for you, and it will check that you understand by asking you questions to check to see if you understand what you need to do. Okay, so do those 2 videos on Edpuzzle. All right, So the idea here is to help you find a template, okay? At the end of this, you should know how to select a template for your presentation. Next, you're going to look at Steve Jobs's presentation. Now, this is a video about Steve Jobs. It's made by another person, and what he does is he explains why Steve Jobs's presentations were so good, why they were so effective. There's a few key ideas. And again, there are questions, answer the questions, and they will help you understand those key ideas. I won't go into that in too much detail. More importantly, the presentation project. All right. Now, last week, I introduced the project to you. We talked about what you needed to do. All right. So you need to choose 2 countries. You needed to do some research on those countries and think of 3 topics that you can compare, okay, about those countries. It could be population size. It could be the size of the country. That's a little bit boring though. Try to be more creative. Okay, so one, I've given you an example, and that is, how much Coke does the average person in each country drink in a year? Okay, you could compare that. Or how many bicycles does each country have? Or which country has the biggest pop music market? Or you decide the topic. Try to be creative. Then, that was last week, all right? Now, hopefully you've already done some of that. This week, you need to take the planning and you need to start making your presentation, okay? So, start by choosing your template. We've already done that. Then, think of these 4 criteria when you are choosing your template, okay? Does the template reflect the theme of your presentation? Now, you're doing a presentation about 2 countries. You can either have a template which uses those 2 countries, or you can have a presentation which looks at the world in general, okay? Or something else, but it needs to reflect your theme. When you're choosing a template, make sure that the background is either light or dark, not both. You don't want a mixed background. A mixed background makes it difficult to see photos and text, and it just makes it just makes your slides too busy. Okay, so you want a nice, simple background, either all light, all dark. I tend to prefer a light background. Okay, now the font should be clear and easy to read. Okay, should be big enough. The font type you select should be nice and easy to read, and the colors should have nice contrast with the background of the slide. If you're using a light background, have dark colored font. If you're using a dark background, you need to have light colored font. You don't have yellow font on an orange background, okay? Difficult to see. And finally, you don't want your template background to cut down the screen size. There are some templates which are terrible, okay? They really narrow down the size of the screen area. So you want to maximize what your audience can see. So look for a template which will do that. Now you need to make at least 5 slides for your presentation. You need to have a title slide, okay? That should include the name of the countries and your name. You need to have 3 slides that talk about the topics. You can have more than 3 slides, but be careful, you only have 2 to 3 minutes for your presentation. And you must have a final slide which has 3 questions about your presentation. Okay, and you're going to be giving your presentation on Flipgrid. Okay, you're going to share your screen, give your presentation on Flipgrid, ask your 3 questions at the end, and other students will watch your presentation and answer your 3 questions. Finally, when making your PowerPoint slides, Okay, use all of the things that you have learned over the last 2 to 3 weeks about the visual message. So, okay, so you need to use the KISS principle. Keep things short and simple. Okay, use simple backgrounds. One slide should have one main idea. Make sure that the visual you are using is the best way to provide the information. Okay, so you need to select the correct chart or the correct photo or the correct map or whatever your visual is. Is it the best way to show the information to make it easy to understand? Okay, don't use sentences. Don't have too much text. Simple, clear, large font, just keywords or key phrases. And make sure they are easy to see, okay, easy to read. Next week, after you have finished making your 5 slides, all right, you will practice your presentation and then you will record your presentation. All right, so just to summarize what you need to do this week. First, watch the Edpuzzle video on how to find a free PowerPoint template and how to select a good template. Then, watch how to create your own background if you can't find a good template. Okay? Again, it will go through those selection criteria again. 3, watch Steve Jobs' presentation. His presentation is very short. It's only 4.5 minutes. Okay? Use his ideas when you are making your PowerPoint presentation. And finally, make your PowerPoint presentation, okay? You choose a template and then make your 5 slides. That's what you need to do by the end of next week, okay? So by 9 o'clock, Wednesday, the 17th of June. Okay, I think I've covered everything. I will stop sharing now. Are there any questions? Okay, if you have a question, either ask me or send me a text. All right, I'm just curious. We have 41 people online, including me. We only have 39 students in the class, so there's an extra person in here somewhere, which is interesting. Hello, extra person. All right. If somebody just left. Okay, I think they just realized they were in the wrong place. All right, if you have any questions, send me a text. If you missed some of this presentation, it will be recorded. All right, I will upload it to YouTube and I'll put the link into the week 5 folder on the information page, as always. Okay, if that's it, I will say goodbye. Good luck. Remember, the key point this week, make your PowerPoint file. If you haven't started doing research yet, you need to get started. Don't leave everything to next week, because if you do, your presentation will not be good. Okay, just had a question. Yes, the answer is yes. The question is, someone is having trouble with Flipgrid when they try to record their screen. For some reason, it's always doing a mute thing. I would suggest that's the settings on your computer. Okay, if it's recording, but you can't hear what you're saying, that's a settings problem on the computer. However, yes, you can use your smartphone, okay? If you can't record screen capture on using Flipgrid with your PC, you can just take a video. Just get your phone, take a video of your presentation, and then you can upload that directly onto Flipgrid. Okay, there's a function that you can use to upload it to Flipgrid. If you're having trouble with doing that, you talk to me and I will help you. There are 2 or 3 other options, okay, that we can use. So don't worry. If you are having trouble with Flipgrid, there are other options, but Flipgrid would be the best way to do it. Okay, I hope that answers that question, and good question. Thank you for asking it. Okay, and if anybody else is having the same problem, all right, same thing. Talk to me and we can find an alternative. But what I would suggest with that is just have another play with Flipgrid and see if you can change the settings on your PC. I would say it's a microphone problem on your computer, not a Flipgrid problem. Okay guys, unless there's any other questions, we will stop. Okay, I'll stop recording now.